There are many ear training apps online. You can download things for things like intervals, chords, rhythms, all that sort of thing. But the one I'm going to show you today, this one is rather different and actually really pertains to what happens out there on gigs where somebody will play a line and you reproduce it or you work with it and do something else with it. So it's rhythm and pitch at the same time. So it plays 2 bars and then you play 2, it plays 2, etc. Let's have a look. Here we are then with PitchBop. On your screen you can see the main page. We've got practice mode and game mode. Now, if we just start with practice mode, it gives you a range of options that you can set, like the root of C, for example. So C major would just be all the white notes on the piano. Let's have a look at that. Just go to maybe rhythmic complexity up slightly, pitch complexity. Let's try 4 maybe, so that it just gives me a few different notes. Tempo can be varied from 50 to 160. Let's just speed it up for the purposes of this demonstration. The root is C. We've got the major scale. Now you can choose various scales and modes. There's masses here that you can have, absolutely masses, and we'll have a look at those in a minute. So yes, just stick with C major. The lowest pitch and highest pitch. At the moment, the lowest pitch of the piano, A0. And the highest pitch of C8, technically it could play anything between those two things. You can always narrow that range if you just want to work with an octave. Always start on the root. Well, yes, we could start with that, but we can then switch it off so that you're listening out for different degrees of that scale. Calls per session, 10. You can have up to 32. Swing or even eighth notes. Let's leave it swing. Chromatic notes, no. Well, we can add those for extra complexity. Let's see what it does. Okay. So that's fairly sort of standard at the moment. There's not a huge amount going on. Let's just ramp the pitch complexity up a bit. And maybe let's go for the chromatic notes. Yes. Let's see what happens now. So it's giving you both rhythmic and pitch variations. Let's go in a little bit more. Let's ramp up the complexity just so you can hear what can be done with this. Let's try, I don't know, a Dorian mode. So there's your C Dorian. Let's see what happens now. Etc. Let's see what happens if we really ramp up the tempo as well. Tempo, yeah, let's go a bit faster and let's just bring both sliders up. And that's where it all starts to unravel. But of course, you can just do a bit more as you sort of get better at it. Now, you can specify different instruments. Let's have a look. Choose your instrument. Piano. Well, you can choose anything. And if you do play a transposing instrument, you then also have the option, for example, trumpet in B flat. You can actually specify it at transposed pitch. So, which makes a lot of sense. Violin. Let's try that. So you can highest pitch A7. Yeah, okay. I'm just going to take that down a bit because I want it to be slightly friendlier, perhaps. Let's try B5. So that's actually first position, the extent of first position on the violin. Pitch Bop, and then go to practice mode. I'm going to keep the pitch complexity and the rhythmic thing up just so that I can try something, and then I'm going to try my 1910 Strovile with this. Okay, so let's try a few different scales now. So let's have a look. Locrian, well, melodic minor, Lydian dominant. Let's do that. Okay. Always start on the root? No. Chromatic notes? Yes. Okay, so I'm asking it to do quite a lot of things. I hope I can keep up. Okay, so perhaps what I need to actually do is to go in and just tweak those complexity sliders just a little bit more. Ah. Rather than answer that one, I thought, well, that's probably about enough of that. Now, the metronome, you can have it on all 4 beats if you like, or you can have no metronome. Now, this really does ramp up what you can do with your timing. So you can set things to guitar, for example. If I just plug my guitar in, electric guitar. Okay, so D6, I'm going to bring that top note down because I've only got C6. So let's see what happens now. So same thing, but there's no metronome this time, apart from the counting. You do get a graphical representation on the screen, so if you're not quite sure where it starts, you can just cast an eye down and to see where it's going to play. But actually, when you take your sight away from the screen, actually it makes your ears much more attuned to what's going on. Now, if I just go to, for example, in practice mode, or just go back to the, just click off the metronome there, root, I don't know, E flat. Let's try something else. Dorian flat 2. Yeah. Okay, always start on the root. No. Swing. Let's do even this time. See what happens now. Now, if we really go into this, I'm just going to put the sliders both absolutely up to the top. So it really does make you listen. And actually, I'm going to be friendly and put the metronome back on 2 and 4, just for now. I don't mind making a fool out of myself on YouTube, but you can hear basically how far it can go. So it really is something from just the beginning, where you've got roots and fifths, all the way up to where you've got all the degrees of whatever mode you've set. Brilliant. Now, there is a game mode as well, which you can set some rhythmic complexity, and let's just try that. So this time it's in a slightly different mode in that it gives you feedback at the end. So let's have a look. Etc, etc, etc. And you can pause it and then go back into it, and it gives you things like what your first note is and all of that sort of thing. There's a profile page where you can get sort of, scores and feedback and all of that sort of thing, and it does give you that sort of feedback as well. And there's a bit about the app, there's a good instruction manual, and then about the creators of this app. Now, they've also come up with something called Genius Jam Tracks, which I'm going to do a demo on. So watch out for that, subscribe to my channel and click that alarm bell, and then you can see that demo as well. It's a fantastic application. These two together, Pitch Bop and Genius Jam Tracks, are really a tour de force for any musician. And of course, all those instruments that I specified there, it includes every orchestral instrument and lots of different voices as well, so you can test your sort of scatting skills. So there it is, Pitch Bop. Absolutely fantastic application.